106.1 Kiss FM, all the hits. The Rob's Radio Show with me, Ryan O'Brien, and I've got special guests in the studio. Courtney Johnson is here. Courtney is the founder of Young and Established.
Yes.
Yeah, you got that started. We'll get into what Young and Established is all about, and it's a great concept and a great thing for young people here in the community. Ashley, our digital diva, joins us as well. But before we get in too deep on Young and Established here in just a minute, we were talking earlier, and I want to get your opinion on this too, Courtney. Mm-hmm. Something that as you've gotten older, that excites you now as an adult that didn't as a kid.
Oh, reading. Well, I just had a conversation about that the other day. Growing up, I hated to read, but now I'm more of a just stay in the house and read instead of watching TV or anything like that.
What kind of stuff are you reading? Magazines, books, just whatever you can get your hands on?
I'm a huge John Maxwell fan, so that's what kind of got me into reading. Read one of his books, and then I was hooked. So I don't read much, so forgive me. Okay, like
so yeah, just
that kind of
fiction, nonfiction kind of stuff, but more for you, motivational kind of stuff.
Motivational, I kind of stick with that. So Harry Potter and all of that, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm sure it's a great book.
Hey, there's a whole bunch of movies on Harry Potter, so you don't have to read them. They'll just tell it for you on the big screen. So, but the reason you're here is not to talk about reading, although, or what excites you now as an adult, but Young and Established, which I discovered on Twitter after your account followed the station account, and I started to look into it a little bit more. You've got a website. Is it youngannestablished.com?
Yes, youngannestablished.com is our website, and we can go through the social media stuff. Yeah, and
we can, let's just start for people that maybe are unfamiliar with, and I noticed I happened to be somewhere with a stack of news for yous yesterday, and I noticed you're on their list of 20 influential people under 40.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you on that recognition. But for those that don't know, what is Young and Established?
Young and Established is a nonprofit that I started about 4 years ago, and our mission is to inspire the youth and young adults to be positive role models in their community. And we pretty much touch on everything. I know people ask, like, what is our main focus? Of course, the youth, but we do a bunch of different things, a lot of different charity events, fundraisers, if it's working in the school, if it's just really just being out in the community, partnerships with the police department, and just a lot of different people. Albion, we just try to stay connected and do what we can.
Now, we were talking before we jumped on the air here about, you had this desire as a college student that your thought was radio, TV, broadcasting. You said maybe moving down to Atlanta, but you found yourself coming back home and starting this. When you came back home, what prompted you? What were you seeing that said, I got to do something about this?
There was just a need for a lot of different things. Just not to say that there was a lot of negative things going on, but there was a lot of my peers getting locked up, getting in trouble. When I went to some of the schools just to hang out with kids that I knew, I just saw there wasn't enough mentors and enough role models, so I just wanted to get involved. And as I got involved, I wanted to do more and more and more, so it just continued to grow. And USI, definitely, I wanted to do some radio. I wanted to do those kind of things. Huge shout out to USI. It's a great school. But things just changed.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were talking, sometimes life gets funny that way, that you've got this one plan in mind and then something pops up and it turns out that maybe this is what you should have been doing from the get-go, and it just took you some kind of a moment in time to recognize that light came on and went, this is what I need to be doing. So when you select... and you said you personally are currently mentoring 11 different kids right now from 3 different schools? Right
now, they're all at Bossy. So they're going to all be at Bossy starting in the fall.
Okay. So how do you determine, does somebody come to you and say, hey, I think this kid's got some real potential here, but he just needs to be sent in the right direction. Can you help? Or do you yourself see through your experiences kids that need that kind of help and you approach them? How does one go about getting you and Young and Established to help a young person become the best they can be?
It's a little bit of both. I know when I first got started, the teachers kind of brought some of the kids in and it just kind of started from there. But now there's people that reach out all the time, and I tell them I already have 11 kids, so it's kind of hard for me to add any more kids, but I still try to do what I can as far as speaking to them and even stopping by a friend's house or somebody's house to just kind of talk to a kid. But it started off as just me going into the schools and them just kind of telling me, look, we have some kids we would love for you to mentor, and then I just stuck with it. So it's been 3 years now.
And these aren't necessarily kids who are troublemakers per se. Some could be, I guess. But just kids in general, regardless of their their background and
Exactly.
the home life. Just kids that maybe just need a little direction.
That's it.
They're good kids. They just don't know where to go with whatever is going to make their way to them as life goes on. So was there anything in your personal life growing up that flipped this switch for you to, I know you said earlier that you saw a need here in the area for this, but was there a moment for you, like were you a troublemaker to some degree, and somebody along the path for you came to you and said, hey, there's better ways to handle things?
Well, my parents did a good job of keeping me in line, but I did have a lot of people pouring into me. I played sports, so there was that coach that always stayed on me, Coach B, and there was just a lot of people that poured into me, and I didn't get in a lot of trouble, but in high school I had a mouth, so I did kind of talk back and do some things. But I just know that there's a huge need for mentors. A lot of these kids, like you said, as far as guidance, don't have that. So I just kind of felt like it was important for me to just do my part.
Yeah.
And try to put other kids or other college students or just people that want to mentor and pour into these kids in a position to do so. So that's kind of what we're doing. Shooting for August to get everything rolling and just get as many people as we can involved with mentoring, and just maybe not as much as I'm doing. I'm hands-on 24/7.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, if they could just do once a week or something like that, that'd just help. Like, it'll be a huge help.
How did you come up with the name Young and Established?
Everybody wants to know that. Also, the logo,
I like
too.
it. I like it because I'm on your website right now, and it looks like Y and E, or that's exactly what it is. It's the Y and then the ampersand for the word and then the letter E. It looks like the A&E logo from the TV network that you may have twisted a little bit to fit your own thing.
Just a little bit.
How'd the name come up?
So actually, when I reached out to my family first, and then I just told them I want to do something, want to start something positive, and all that good stuff. But I needed a name. I needed something positive that was going to fit with what we were trying to do. So my cousin said, "You're young, you're established," which I wasn't. I don't feel like I was at the time. I was definitely young, but he said, "You're young and you're established," and I'm like, I like that. Let's roll with that.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was watching A&E. So I'm simple. I like simple things.
Yeah.
And I just changed the A with the Y, and
off you went.
Yeah, and I reached out to my lawyer and everything. He said I couldn't get sued. So that's something that I did learn in school, though, as far as marketing. People,
absolutely,
when they see it, they think that looks familiar.
Yeah,
it's like because of A&E, like they might think.
That was going to be my next question. Have you been contacted by A&E for a cease and desist just yet? You guys host a number of events because, again, being a nonprofit, you host fundraisers to keep doing what you're doing. And I know you just wrapped up your annual Dust Bowl event, and it was a couple of weeks ago. But for those that aren't familiar with that, explain to us what the Dust Bowl the event is.
So it's a long story behind it, but I'll give you the short version. I know we're low on time, but basically it was an outdoor basketball tournament, and that's strictly what it was. And a young man was killed at this event about 7 years ago. So the city basically took it away. And I reached out to Chief Bolin and the president of NAACP and told them that we wanted to bring it back. We had a Together We'll Stop the Violence campaign going on at the time because of all the violence that was going on. So we brought it back, and we didn't want to do it unless we partnered with the police department. And I think that made sense because instead of just policing, that could help with relationships. You have
and
a lot of different people in and out. You can interact with kids and just get to know people while you're up there. So that was one of the biggest things that we wanted to do, but we wanted to just but not have the focus just on basketball, even though that's how it started. That's what it came from, basketball, but we wanted to bring more to it as far as vendors, having local groups performing, youth groups, and giving away bikes, just having a lot of different things going on instead of just, hey, let's go watch basketball. So that's kind of what it was, and it's been successful. This year was our 4th year, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And we had it at the C.K. Newsom Center. It's not outdoors anymore. We kind of moved indoors, and it's just been better because it's so hot.
Oh, yeah. So this time of year it just gets so humid. I understand.
Yeah.
Again, you can check out youngannestablished.com for a complete list of the events. But the next thing you've got coming up is in August, and that's your backpack drive, which is an opportunity for the public to help provide students with new backpacks and school supplies because it is that time of year.
Definitely.
School's going to be starting up here in just a few weeks, whether the kids like it or not. Explain, if you could, how can people get involved with that if they want to make donations?
So on our website, you can reach out to us. Not only if you want to give a donation, you can get involved with the event. Right now, we're trying to partner with Five Below. Again, last year they did an amazing job with helping us out as far as getting these backpacks for a great price, and their backpacks are pretty good. So you can either reach out to us on our website, or my number is all over the place. I'm all on Facebook and everything, so you can just reach out. And a lot of people have been asking if we're going to do it again. So the best way would be the website. You can just go ahead and reach out to us on the website, and we'll get back to you for sure.
Okay, it's youngendestablished.com, all one long word, youngendestablished.com. There's a contact page. You can just hit them up there for more information, not only on the backpack drive, but you guys have a food drive in November, toy drive coming up in December, and a coat collection also, warm for the winter, is coming up in December as well. Where can we find you on Facebook, Twitter, all those other important social media platforms?
Young and Established, Facebook. Our Twitter is _Y and spelled out E_, and then our Instagram is just Young and Established. Perfect. I know the Twitter is kind of crazy, but we wouldn't let us.
It's hard. I know. I understand. I went through a few different before I could finally find one for my own personal one that stuck. So
yeah, definitely.
So check it out, Young and Established. I like what you're doing, Courtney. I really do. I think this is a fantastic idea and a concept. And if you want more information, youngendestablished.com is where you go and find out more about the backpack drive, the food drive, and some of the other events they've got coming up. Best of luck to you. You're certainly welcome to stop by anytime and talk to us about some of the other events that you guys have coming up, anything that we can help you get the word out on. But we appreciate the time.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.